Sure, it's a common notion, perpetual emotion, but I don't need the comfort of any lies. I've seen the ending, and there's no ascending. Rise. Oh, back when I was younger, was told by other youngsters that my head well was solitude beneath the earth. 'Cause I don't see what they see when they're staring at me. I see a window, a limit, and not at all. If you could borrow effort to carry on forever, would you like even matters anymore? It's a common notion, perpetual emotion, but it's not what she signed up for. I'm sure there won't always be sunshine, but there's this momentary gleam of light. I have to wait for such decades and decades on a blank face. I'm sure there won't always be sunshine. I'm sure there won't always be I could cry for the ocean, that I've been losing. That I tried to respect it, let it ride and respect it. You think you love and forever, you get down to the levels. It's a common notion, but it's a lie.
Alright, so a lot of these beats are oriented around the 4 on the floor kick beat, which means we're just going to do the bass drum on all 4 beats. So even from the beginning, we start with this hi-hat pattern where we're emphasizing the back beat. 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Then after a phrase of that, we add the kick back in. There's a little pause before. 4, 4 like that. Another pause, then we go over to the floor tom beat, which also has the kick drum on all 4 beats while we're going. It can easily sound like there's a lot going on in the low end there, but really all you're doing is 4 on the floor kick here, 8th notes right hand, back beat left hand. The beat we get to after that is going to come from the hi-hat. We're going to do like a sizzle hi-hat, slightly open. Around there. You can hear in that the thing that's really driving that beat forward is, again, the 4 on the floor kick drum. We have a bit of an accent pattern we're outlining here. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2. So 4 groups of 3, and then 2 groups of 2. If you can count that, that's when the snare comes in. It's going to be on all those accents. Otherwise, the hi-hat's also outlining that. So I'm going to take the snare away. that snare with the accents. Again, think of when the right hand accents, that's when the snare comes together because we're trying to pair things off. We're trying to make the snare and the hi-hat act together, not as two separate parts. The right foot at this point for all these beats should just kind of be going on autopilot. Just as if you're at a concert tapping your foot to the song. Don't think about how it lines up with the beat or anything like that. Just let it drive the beat forward. If you can practice with a metronome or even just with the song and line that up, that tends to help the kick just fall into place with something. Otherwise, we're going over to the ride cymbal for the next beat. So now we're deterring away from the 4 on the floor kick. When I listen to it, I kind of hear just the halftime ride cymbal there, but you can definitely double it up if that helps get these two in line. Okay, so now we're going to talk about the breakdown part. Start with a big crash like that. We're going to go over to the ride cymbal. The main rhythm you want to have resonating through this whole pattern. It's just going to keep driving this low section, and then between that you can do any type of snare or tom fills that don't feel conclusive. That's the main part of this, is that it shouldn't feel like you're about to go back into the main section. It should feel like you're sustaining the bridge. Bridge sections tend to just draw out, and then there's a resolution at the end. So we want fills more like this. Toms and the snare feel equally as floaty as the ride cymbal. And then when we finally start picking up the pace of that, we're going to go back to the 4 on the floor kick. We're going to do a fill into that starts driving the beat forward. Instead of driving the momentum forward, we actually do a hard stop before we go back into the next beat, which is going to be kind of our typical surf rock beat. We do that for a progression, we come up to another stop, and then we go back to a beat from earlier. This is the other one on the ride cymbal, so we do this for a little bit. Or you can even come over to the open hats if you feel better with that. Either double time the right hand or go back to the 8th notes. You'll notice with all those fills, and this applies to every beat before this too, I don't stop the right foot. It's really easy to lose your drive if you go into a fill and you stop. What's really driving the bus? Here's an example of that. Stop there. I still did the same fills before. Here's the same idea with the kick drum still going. That doesn't have as many instruments on the drum set stopping, so it just feels like, especially that kick, is just driving things forward. There's a number of hits in this song that we need to outline. After the first verse, or go around on the tom, that's going to signify the end of the first verse. Second time around is a little bit different. It's really easy to play the same thing for both times, and that's not technically correct. Think of 1, 2, 1, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1. And then tag that with a crash at the end of the hi-hat. verse 1 and 2 end with those two type of hits. Verse 3, when we're about to go into this section, actually doesn't have those hits at the end. That's how you can really differentiate verse 3 from verse 1 and 2. It just goes straight to the washy crashes that lead into it. That makes you feel like the song's pulling back. You're not doing hits that lead into some more intense section. You're actually pulling the song back, so that's a reason they probably didn't put those hits there. End of the song, very last thing that happens. It's a little bit tricky to line up because it's syncopated quarter note triplet. 4 full groups of quarter note triplets is what we're going to be thinking. So we got the guitars, bass, everything going with that. Okay, and that should be about everything you need to know.